Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Echinacea. Some people call this a native plant. I'm sorry, but it's native to prairies, but the varieties that you're buying in the stores are long ways away from anything that ever grew wild. One of the great ones and the great series, it's only been around for a couple years. I saw it in the trial gardens in Buffalo a couple years back, and it's called Cheyenne Spirit. Now, Cheyenne Spirit Echinacea is a great collection of different colored echinaceas. The shades of purples, pinks, reds, and oranges. All the lighter yellows, creams, and whites as well. And they're really strong, sturdy plants. They're single flowers on stems and side branches. The quilled petals, all the same things that you're used to in an echinacea from July all the way to frost. The neat thing is that it's 18 to 30 inches tall and it's only about 10 to 20 inches wide. So you've got a hardy plant to zone 4 that is going to give you a good array of colors, and it's really going to catch your eye. It really does. The collection that I saw, it popped. You could see it from a distance. It drew me over to that bed just because it was there. And Garden Import has got it for sale, so you want to make sure that you do go to GardenImport.com and, of course, take a look and order lots. I know Douglas would be very pleased. Now, there is also other things in this catalog. I love his catalog. The pictures are all full color. They are accurate, both in color and size, and his descriptions are perfect, okay? So you don't have to worry about, oh, this isn't as pink as it was or supposed to be, or this isn't as yellow as it was supposed to be. No, these pictures are all fantastic. Sometimes he's even taken the pictures himself because he does travel the world and he does go looking at some new plants, and he wants to see them actually growing before he makes a decision. That's what I call a dedicated owner. Now, Hellebores. Christmas Rose is the other name. I really like this one because these ones bloom in the spring, but they also bloom so early in the spring that in really slightly warmer climates, they will bloom in November, December, January, February, March, and go through. Up here in Niagara, generally these bloom from about late February on. This year being a late season, probably going to bloom in late March, I would say, maybe early April. I think a lot of things will be late this year. So here's some of the ones that Garden Import carries. And the Amber Gem is the one that I think is cool. It's yellow with a little bit of a pink on the edges. And that sort of comes out as being apricot. It's sort of from a distance, you're going to look at it and say it's an apricot colored one, and yet it's a double, okay? It's going to be very, very pretty amethyst rose speckling, and it's going to be 12 inches high and 24 inches across. Beauty. Remember, these are evergreens that don't look like evergreens. They're perennials as well. So in other words, they're there 24/7, 12 months a year, and they bloom in late winter in this area. So there's one of the ones that I think you should take a look at. The other one is Cotton Candy. Again, it's a double. It's new for them. And it's a double pink cotton candy. What would you expect, right? It is pretty enough to want to be able to eat. The eye is maroon, and there is some speckling of maroon throughout it. It does have some green throat on it, and so it's a very interesting, complex flower. And you're going to have to get close to these because these flowers are only a couple inches across at best. So, but they bloom. They have color at a time when we usually aren't even out in the garden. But so make sure that you are. So take a look at that one, and be aware that it should do you up until about zone 4. Now, the other one is Amethyst Gem. Now, it's going to be really cool in the fact that it's sort of an amethyst rose. And it's really pretty, double. Again, it's going to be about 24 inches across, 12 inches high, and hardy to zone 4. One of the nice things about these is that they're all evergreen. Now, we are going to talk about the black flower. Okay, this is Onyx Odyssey Helleborus. And it's what they call or classify as a black flower. Hard to do, but it's such a slate purple, it's almost black. It has multiple petals, so it's not fully double, but it is, well, maybe a semi-double. And you can go and take a look at this one. It's dark, so you're going to have to go looking for it. But the flowers face down instead of up, so you have to look for it. It is going to bloom for 6 weeks in the early spring. The foliage comes out purple and changes to green. It looks great when you combine it with some of the yellow irises as well. Some of the early irises, the little short guys, right? As well. There is a green one. It's called Sparkling Diamond. They call it Snow White, but I think it picks up enough green that it doesn't really turn my crank, so forget it, okay? We were speaking about Siberian Iris as well. In the past, you'll know that I've always loved Siberian Iris. I've rescued them from gardens that are going to be bulldozed, etc. Well, Garden Import's got a couple of nice ones. Dance and Sing is a yellow. Now, that means that it's a white with yellow falls because there are different petals on each one of these types of iris, okay? Standards and falls. But we won't get into that because to most people, it really doesn't matter. It's a flower. It's yellow, okay? And I would say that you're going to like this one because the flowers are about 3.5 inches across. They're a creamy yellow. It's going to flower repeatedly until late summer. So as long as the summer and we're having a warm fall, you'll get a second bloom out of this one as well. Spread is about 18 to 24 inches, and it can be as tall as 32. So it is a really quite tall one. The other one that I would take a look at if I were you is called Contrast in Styles. Unusual name for a plant, but this is a Siberian iris. And what I like about it is that it looks more like a real iris. Real iris, the ones everybody grows is called flags, etc. It's purple. It's got pale styles. It's got falls that are a deep bluey purple on the edges. It has a look of a wine purple. Standards. Okay, standards are those petals that go up. Falls are the ones that go down, generally. Okay? And you're going to like this one simply because it's so different from all the other Siberian iris, which are always blue to everybody else. Okay? Going to be at least 28 inches tall, and it's going to be 18 to 24 inches wide. So you're looking at a plant that really does quite well. I want you to take a look at that as well. Now, there are a couple hibiscus, and I think you will, if you listen to my show, you have probably heard about cherry cheesecake hibiscus. This is a perennial hibiscus. And This is one of the newer ones, and it is gorgeous. Look, think of a flower in late summer in your garden that's a good 8 inches across, maybe more. Okay? It's mostly raspberry, pink, white, and definitely very pretty. It has that deep, dark purple center. And it's going to be a very tall plant. You're looking at least 3 feet tall. There are hibiscus that can get even taller. They can go 5-6 feet easily. So this one's not too bad, and it's going to be 3 feet wide. So you're going to have to give it a little bit of room. And of course, it's got the dark green leaves. It comes up late like all the perennial hibiscus, so don't expect it first thing to show up out of the ground. And with this being a late spring coming up, we're going to have to find that this one will actually emerge from the ground. As a result, I never cut this one down in the fall. I leave it up for winter interest so everybody knows where it is and nobody steps on the crowns, which come up much later, particularly when they're under mulch. People don't know exactly where they are, so I leave the stalks up until I see some growth coming up and emerging, and then I go in and very gently cut out the stems. Now, they are herbaceous type stems, so cutting them out is not any chore at all. In fact, I used to give this job to my children when they were like 5 or 6. I get them out there and I give them a pair of pruners and I say, cut it down to the ground. And of course, these big stems, and of course they're hollows, right? So they cut them down and they think they're cutting down something that's, well, in this case, they were tall ones, twice as tall as they are, and they're in there cutting them all down and having a good time. And now, but in those days, they would actually pick up their mess. Well, you know, as they get older, they don't. There's another one, and I like this one because it is distinctly different. And that is called Midnight Marvel. Why? Because it has glossy black-red buds on the flowers that open up into nice, deep scarlet flowers that are 8 or 9 inches across. Great, late summer, no problem, except that the leaves are deep wine purple. Yeah, so forget the flowers coming late. Who cares? You've got this deep wine purple plant in your garden. So try that one as well. The leaves look more like a shaggy maple leaf as well. So it has interest. Blooms from July to September, and it's going to get at least 4 feet tall and about good 4.5 feet across. So give it a little bit of room. Definitely a plant that you're going to want to play with. Now, when I was at Canada Blooms, I picked up eucomis, and you know that I do like eucomis. I have a pot which I combine with red flowered oxalis and eucomis, and this is pineapple lily. And what I like about pineapple lilies, one, they look like something from outer space. 2, they're a bulb, so they come up every year, but they're not hardy. I just go and take the whole container in after I've cut it down and put it in the garage for the winter, and it comes up and comes back each year. I always put it far back into the garage because that's where it's a little warmer and keep it away from the cold door. Now, there are many different ones. I picked up 3 from Garden Import when I was at Canada Blooms, and but I picked up Aloe Lea. And the reason for that is the fact that it's sort of a pinky red. And I want flowers that are going to be a little different and stand out, because most of these are white or green in flowers. There is the bicolor, which is the green with the purple edge. Got that one. Got the white one. Got that one. So I'm always looking for others. And I did get Aloe Lea, and so it's going to go in there as well. And it's got the green leaves that you're used to, but it's got the red flowers. Okay. I also got Sparkling Burgundy, and the reason I got this one is because the foliage is sort of a burgundy red. The flowers are a pink, and it's a good strong pink. And so I picked up that one as well. Then I picked up Tugela Gem. And the reason for that is it's a different group and it's new, and I've never grown it before. It has purple flushed foliage with cream-colored florets. But when they mature to a toffee pink, whatever a toffee pink is. That toffee is sort of a caramel pink, if that's a color. So there is going to be added to that pot just to give it a little bit more interest as well. So these are some of the plants you can get from Garden Import. And I mentioned the oxalis, so just remember there are many different colored oxalis that you can use. The one that I picked up 1.5 million years ago was the green with the red flowers. But there are a lot of newer ones out. So go for it. And if you want to take a look at it, ooh, look. Oh, yeah, Amazonica lilies. I haven't seen those since I was at school. But anyways, they are great. And so go and check out GardenImport.com. And if you don't have a catalog, you can call them as well at 905-731-1950. Or you can email them flower@GardenImport.com. Garden Import, probably one of the nicest catalogs, definitely in the category of what we call garden porn as well. So definitely, and with varieties and distinctions and colors and photographs that are accurate. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.